Well, hello everybody. Welcome to a beautiful but windy, sunny summer day here in West Manitoba. It is, aside from the wind, a glorious day. So I apologize for that because I know what it does to the mic on this camera. I have to edit these. I know what it sounds like. And yeah, I am very sorry for all of us. But that said, it is Sunday, and the longest standing tradition on this channel is to take a look at everything I've got growing in my gardens on Sunday. So we're not going to be stopped by a little bit of wind. That said, at the end of this, I am going to try jump starting that lawnmower. I thought you guys might like to come along for that. We'll see if there's any juice left in the battery sitting in the boys' truck. But anyway, let's get started with the garden, and I'm going to try and film in between gusts of wind, but I can't make any promises. So yeah, here we go. So we'll just start by my initial hiding place here, which is over by Troll's garden. I don't know, I am really amused by this, and frankly I'd rather call it Troll's garden, for kind of the guy who inspired it, than what, the Root Pro Pouch garden. I'm sure they would prefer that, but that sounds like copyright strikes and ad problems to me, so we'll just leave it as Troll's garden. We've got this second tomato here. I believe it's a red pear type tomato. Seems to be quite happy where it is. It gets a little bit of midday shade. As you can see, the trees are creeping and they've just kind of passed on by. But all in all, things seem to be doing well here, like this purple basil, dark opal basil, I guess, to be more accurate. Oh wow, like the color that has taken since it's come outside into the unfiltered sunlight is absolutely amazing. Here we've got the Sugar Rush Cream, which is recently forked. Its leaves aren't looking that great. I don't know if that's pest damage or quite what that is, but let's check and make sure she's even got water. Oh yeah, lots of water in there, but you know what? With all the rain that we've had lately, that might be just water in there, so perhaps I should dump all 3 of these coffee can peppers out, make up a fresh batch of nutrients, fill them back up again. But as I was trying to point out, we can see that this pepper has forked for me, so that's nice, and it almost looks, if we look really carefully, oh, wind, like we can see the beginning of flowers in there, so that is excellent. Here we've got the Nada Super Chili. It's we got a little bit of black forming on the end there. I'm hoping that's a darker color and not an issue, but again, with the nutrient change, I suspect all of these plants will be much happier. Be nice to see some red on these. Still haven't quite decided what variety they probably really are. They could also be red demon peppers, because they're very similar to both the cayenne and the kung pao, but they're a little smoother, and I don't know. Could very well be red demons. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Up here we've got the rosemary. Oh boy, is this stuff enjoying the sunshine. I was out here trying to pick some of these sunburned, okay, are these leaves, are these needles? What would I call these? Anyway, I was trying to pick some of the sunburned ones off, and my fingers just got so sticky and so stanky from this. It was fantastic. This rosemary is doing so well. Gonna be hard to part with it at the end of the season. Don't know if I'm gonna actually be able to bring myself to stick to those strong words about not bringing plants in. Oh, the wind. And like this sage, right? This is last year's sage. It grew out in the garden last year. I brought it into the dungeon, managed to keep it alive. I brought it out now, and it's clearly rocking it out. It's a very happy plant. So am I going to be able to bring myself to leave that out to the winter? I doubt it. We'll have to see though. The crimson red pepper in the coffee can. Oh, that's my shadow. Very excited to share that we've got new peppers forming on there since I took those older ones off. And I think it's definitely grown a few inches since then. So that is very, very positive. Beside it here we've got the Manitoba variety tomato. Oh, I'm definitely going to be growing these for many years to come. Look how many flower clusters we've got on there. Nice big yellow flowers. And it kind of seems to me like you can tell from the size of a tomato flower how big the tomato is going to be. So I'm kind of looking forward to some big maters off of that puppy. Very exciting. Speaking of tomatoes, we take a quick look at the forest over here. Does look a little bit better since I mowed the lawn. Oh, that wind. of course, but I need to mow it again. Looking forward to having that riding mower. If I can get that thing working, it'll be a lot easier to do the bulk of the yard. And then those 3 batteries that I've got will be more than enough to do kind of what's left over from it. That one's looking kind of flopped there, not quite sure what happened. Hoping it wasn't run over by a happy pup or something. There are a lot of these that appear to have bird poop on them, but they have been perching on the top of the poles. So aside from that bird poop, what do we got? That looks like the beginning of a tomato on a beefsteak. So we'll see what comes of that. Pretty exciting. I think this is another beefsteak up beside me here in one of the few cages that we had left. Spreading out quite nicely. Hopefully that'll be fairly productive. This one here looks like it could use some water, but at the same time I see flower on that. Tomato flowers are such a lovely bright yellow. Quite nice, quite nice. We'll take a look at some in the other row here. What is this little guy? This is one of the Blustery plum tomatoes. Quite hopeful to see something off of those. It's the first year for growing those. And back here we've got like an out of place grape tomato. No, red pear, pardon me, but it is out of place because the others are over there, I think. Somewhere. I don't know. Kind of lost track of where a lot of the things are. Almost need to do like a chart or something so I can find my assorted tomatoes in this field. But for the most part, they are looking like they're doing pretty well. So I'm kind of excited by that. And these indigo rose, just look how purple that is. And again, we have the lovely contrast of the bright yellow tomato flower in there. Now these aren't a large tomato. They're not a tiny tomato either, though. They tend to kind of vary in size. So I very much enjoy that aspect of them too. You never quite know what you're going to get with the indigo rose. Got another one over here. Got some very good purpling color to it. It doesn't have a stake because of, well, poor planning on my part, but still will get around to fixing that one day. Got the lemon boy here. Now I had a couple of tomatoes forming on this, but I pulled them off, hoping that it will start fresh and grow up a bit more for me, but we're just going to have to wait there too. Now, the previously barren beds just behind all this, don't worry, we'll get to these peppers here in a minute, but as you can see, there are many, far too many radishes sprouting in this first bed. So I'll have to go through there and pull a bunch out. Not sure if those are peas or weeds, but I'm going to pull them as if they're weeds anyway. And then yesterday, at the end of the video, I was kind of suggesting that I have something new sprouting up. And it's going to be very hard to see because the soil is very dry and it's very bright out right now. But if you look carefully, I have little rows of carrot seedlings finally popping up. They're a very fine sort of seedling, kind of hard to see like I was saying, even not through the camera. But sometimes these things show up better on the actual episode or video, I should say, than they do in real life. Anyway, it looks like lots and lots of those carrots have sprouted finally, and in the coming weeks we're gonna get to see this really bush up. Over here the corn patch is even doing fairly well. Could probably use a watering because we got wind and sun instead of rain, so of course that's ripping the moisture out of everything. But we got a couple clusters here where there's like, again, we'll move out of my shadow here. There's 3 corn in that one, 4 corn in that one, 3 in that one there that came up. So I'm going to try spacing them out before they get too much bigger. Fill in a couple of the gaps if I can. There's 2 at the end here, but I'm going to leave them alone. Again, my shadow's interfering, but because we do have 1 pea sprout coming up in the very middle of that. So cool. It'd be very interesting to see how that works. It's 2 of the 3 sisters, I guess. It's supposed to be beans, but peas. Whatever. It's the Bear household. We never do anything quite properly, do we? You know, case in point, bunker garden. Came out to check on this the other day, and I'm pleased to say the tomatoes all seem to be doing fairly well. flower clusters forming on all of them, and 2 out of 3 already have open flowers that are again fairly sizable, so I'm looking forward to a nice sized tomato from both of these plants. This is a Better Boy hybrid here. But I was pleased to notice that there was a garter snake that had taken up residence in the bunker, and then when it kind of ran away from me, it ran down, and it seems to have a home like in between the chunks of sod, and that's great by me because there will be no slugs attacking these plants, and I suspect any larger insect that tries to give them a go is probably going to become food as well. So huzzah! At least these 3 plants will have an opportunity to grow and be productive. And I have to say, out of all of them, these are definitely the tallest tomatoes. So there might be something to having them in this raised bunker garden just for that slightly warmer soil. Soil that's slowly warming, producing vast amounts of weeds as it does it. Currently just weeds sprouting up in here, but I am also currently using it to mine for bits of soil. I've got that whole lemon boy or tomato grove that I've got to plant out. I do have the 2 rows of beans in here, but I only just put them down, so clearly they're not sprouting yet and looks like they desperately need to be watered. Up here we've got the eggplant. Pretty sure that's an eggplant anyway. The random pepper, a couple of sage. Slow to go, but I think it's going to be a good year this year. I mean, really, our garden season kind of sort of just started, and things are sprouting, popping, looking good. Forgot to show you guys this the other day. Finally got the Brussels sprouts planted. We've kind of offset them, one there, one there, one there, one there. So hopefully as these grow up, they shouldn't block each other too much. They might block the kales that were left over and needed planting, and or these couple of chard at the end here that were also left over and needed planting. Got a black zucchini up there. It's not doing great after the transplant. Can't really say that that cucumber there is doing great after the transplant either, but you know, when you look at it and think in terms of percentages, pretty happy about all this. Oh, finally got those tomatoes in. Let's take a look at that. So I don't know if this is just the silliest thing ever or what, but filled this thing up with lawn clippings and then dug out little holes, filled it with soil. All that soil was thoroughly soaked from the rain, but it was also well loaded up with the iron earth supplements there and a whole bunch of blood meal. So I'm hoping that the little bit of soil that they've got will be enough for these 6 plants to really grow and prosper here, and maybe hold some of that lawn clippings down for us over the course of the windy summer it looks like we're gonna have. And then next year, I don't know, we might pull this out and put a fruit tree here because it's at about the 15-foot mark, or I don't know, maybe try potatoes again. Just have to wait and see. And that brings us to the peppers, where we will have a moment of silence for the shishito, who is no longer with us. Alright, and moving on. MOA Scotch Bonnet seems to be adapting kind of well. Be nice when the nights stay a little bit warmer and it'll have much better chance to grow. I have issues with those ones though. This is that Sand Dollar. Seems to be pretty happy in its planting there. Sugar Rush Cream here. Looks decent. Got a very tiny red demon pepper here. Not expecting much out of that at all. Slightly larger one here, hiding with the dandelions. It's clearly time to mow in here again, but oh, another moment of silence. We all knew that crimson red wasn't gonna make it, but hope is what it is. It definitely looks like I need to come out here with the watering can. We've got this so-called super chili there. I'll be curious to see what it produces. And then this one here also claims to be a super chili, but we've got a chance to see what it's putting on, and that looks a little more super chili like. Very wilty. Oh, there's another one on there. So it's good and productive. There's another one. Browned off flower, so let's see here. Yep, that's another one. There's another one there. Well, whatever it is, it's going to be nicely productive for me, so I guess we'll keep some seeds from it, assuming it doesn't taste terrible or anything. Lots of flowers on there. Train. Lots of flower starts on there. That's exciting. An Ahi Guyana over here. Zoom back in a bit for a slightly better view. Not transitioning terribly well, but hasn't died yet. On the way of the shishito. And 4 more sand dollars. Safety month here, so the trains are really on top of it. Nice looking sand dollar again, hiding with those dandelions. Last one here. Then we'll take a second, pardon me, before we check this last row, let the train go by. Well, it only blasts at crossing, so I guess we're good for now. These 3 here are hot lemon peppers. Again, the one with the steak is the nicest looking out of those. Really hopeful to get something from that. Then we have a Sugar Rush peach beside it with the gray steak, silver gray. Looks like it might have forked from this distance. Looks like it might be trying to produce flower bulbs, whatever, flower starts. We got the Sugar Rush red here, spreading out nicely, but I don't see any signs of forking from this distance. Got one of the Ahi Pennix here. Lots of little tiny flower starts on that. Sorry for the wiggling camera, this wind is nuts. Another Ahi Pennix here. Desperately in need of water, so pepper patch needs a mow and a water something fierce. There's the wind blasting away as I'm trying to take a look at this honeyberry. But I wanted to show you, in case I haven't already covered this, we've got quite a few berries forming this year, so that is excellent. Actually, we're going to take a look at the Saskatoon berry out front too, because it's just going nuts, and we're starting to get a little bit of color on it already, which is kind of surprising, but they do take a while to fully ripen. So yeah, let's go. Oh, tomato to check, and then we'll go check out Saskatoon. All right, well, thanks to the wind and the heat, it's looking pretty wilty and refusing to sit still, but if it will spin back around, been trying to cover up the mic with that one hand. You can see a nice cluster there, all open, looking like they're ready to get pollinated. A couple more clusters down here. So as uncertain as I was, pardon me, about this particular location, it does seem to be working out pretty well. So yeah, let's go check on them Saskatoons out front. So hopefully you can see them on the camera here with the wind. These bushes are just loaded with fruit for us. And come on, focus. Focus for daddy. And as you can see, typical YouTuber, right? But as you can see, we are starting to get some color forming on these berries. So we are definitely going to have to watch the birds. They are absolutely our best indicators of what's going on. But unfortunately, they also start picking them before they get fully ripe. Whoop, wind gust. So that kind of gives them an edge, as I want them ripe. Anyway, the wind. So trying to take a look at the Ahi, what is it, a Huchapan I think it is. Got lots of peppers forming on that, so I'm very excited about that one. Calabaza beside it. Hasn't started throwing out any flowers yet, but still looks pretty good. I think there's some potential there. Now, this Hot Portugal and actually the one just down the row, these guys don't look good. This particular one does have a few flowers on it, might actually have a pod start on it, but I don't know, for some reason I'm worried about that pepper. A habanero here I still don't think is a habanero, but we'll find out if it ever gives us fruit. Here's that other Hot Portugal I was mentioning. I think a bird came and nipped the top off of that, so that would have been a bit of a shock to it. Got the 2016 sand dollar here, putting on some shoots, but no flowers. And we'll see about that. The yellow scorpion from last year it's got some new growth on it, but life's a struggle for this plant. I don't know why I've got it out here anymore. Really, I should shake off the soil and compost that puppy. But I can't bring myself to do it, because you never know when you're going to end up with something like this. This El Oro de Ecuador, right? This thing has gone absolutely crazy. I'm going to try and get us in nice and close to the top so you can see just how many flower starts are on each of these branch tips. This is crazy. Truly, truly crazy. And they're starting early enough that I think these guys will actually ripen outside. So, holy smokes, am I ever hopeful about the harvest from that one. That brings us to our bag of bush beefsteak. And like the other tomatoes in fabric planters, it seems pretty happy. Growing nice and tall. I've got some micro weeds at the bottom I've got to get to before they get much bigger, but nice looking plant. Looking forward to when I see the brightness of yellow flowers on there. All things in time. Brings us around to the windy front garden here. The chard's okay. The kale's all looking pretty good. I mean, it's all looking wilty, but like I said, water, water, water. Been wind and heat today. And then we've got these couple of, well, few peppers up front. That little matchbox kind of looks like it wants to produce. Kind of looks like it's not going to do a darn thing. I just don't know. It's always a guessing game with these peppers, but I need to keep reminding myself, even though I've been gardening all year long, the garden season has just started. Don't worry, man. Have some patience. There's the nicest looking red demon that we've got that we know is a red demon. So when this puts on some flowers and fruit, we'll have an opportunity to compare it against the one in the coffee can, see just how similar they are. Because I don't have any cayennes or kung paos going for comparison there. Guess that brings us to our zucchini in an urn here. Sounds like they might be working on the train tracks now. Good heavens, busy day, busy day. Couple of nice flowers. We had a couple of very nice flowers, but it looks like one of the robins did us the favor of nibbling on those. Little zucchini on the bottom there. I don't think it got properly pollinated, and its flower has recently fallen off, so I don't expect much to come of that. But again, I have to remind myself the season is still very, very early. This thing has lots of time to be productive. So, huzzah. Alright, well I guess it's in to check on the basement, which is kind of scary. I haven't been down there yet myself today, so let's find out together, shall we? Well, I can look at this table and instantly know that the cold, because the furnace hasn't kicked on for at least 2 days, it's definitely taking its toll at Bootleg clamshell. Never going to be the same again. Looks like that Bad Brains is making it. These others not so lucky. This Billy Goat, definitely not looking good. A couple of those fantasies look alright though. So that's alright. All of these mints, I know I was going to get them planted out, right? Make these bold statements and then nothing ever comes of it. Here we've got the very tortured, ridiculously tortured paper lantern. And it's not doing well. I think the fact that it has been so tortured may be a factor at this point. So I wanted to see how long I could grow it in there. I think we've discovered how long. Probably sometime next week I'll transplant that. Lots of good. I'll bring you guys along so we can see what kind of roots have developed in this little tiny water bottle. Looking back here, rooster spur still alive. So that's good. That ahi habanero become one of the better looking plants in my garden. Would never have expected that. That reaper beside it here, very slow to grow. Very slow to grow. So things are coming along, but not at a decent rate. Oddly, a much better wintertime garden option than a summertime garden option. Back under normal light, and with the atypical JT sound of running water in the background. Looks like most of these spider plants are still pretty content. We've got some brown leaves going on there. Not too much of a big deal or concern there. And these astrids all seem pretty happy and green to me as well. So I guess I'll leave the top off and let some of this moisture kind of evaporate. I'll probably use one of those eyedroppers to pull some of this out as well. But so far so good there. You can never really have too many house plants. I'm starting to come to this conclusion anyway. So great. As I was saying the other day, the more the merrier. It's just more fresh oxygen for everybody. And then that drags us over to the aquaponics. Basil seems to be looking a little happier. Haven't done anything as far as adding extra nutrients, but new leaves certainly look happier than the old leaves do. It's funny. I guess maybe the thought of adding iron is enough, and I've now got some happier plants. I don't know. Still have to trim this wandering branch off the ahi panic here, but if we come around from the side and take a look, you can see a few more flowers in here, so that's excellent. and they're somehow getting pollinated, because look at this. That is wonderful. Oh, I see flowers off in the back there. Oh, very exciting. Very, very exciting. I think I'm going to have to raise this other light up and get some more juice going on to some of these, because there's flowers starting up there too. Holy crow. Alright. Still going to do some messing around with the aquaponics in the very near future. I was thinking about doing that the other day, but then there was this lawnmower that showed up in my life and just kind of all kinds of things there. But I'm thinking these guys need better filtration. Right now the pump is on for 15 minutes, off for 15 minutes, on for 15, you know, yada yada. You get how that goes pretty fast. And then what happens is these fill up to whatever point and then drain out. But here's what I've been thinking, and I'm sure a lot of you have already been thinking this, may have even mentioned it. Because of the additional height here, this pump might not be filling these planters to the same point that it used to, because pumps can only pump up so far. They call it head height, and they've only got, you know, so much tolerance. I'm wondering if that 400 gallon per hour Laguna pump that I've got would do a better job at filling these up, so that maybe the plants that are in here will do a little bit better. I mean, I pulled this thing out the other day because I wasn't getting enough water, and you can see that's still the case, but it had brand new roots that had started to form on the bottom, so I shoved it back in, and I'm kind of being hopeful. But I mean, maybe what's going on with this is it's not getting enough water long enough to pull the nutrients out of it. So we've got this yellowing going on, because I mean, it's forming fruit. So those nutrients are in there, right? Anyway, that's, I got to explore that in the future, figure out what's going on. That tomato is going absolutely insane and yet nowhere at the same time, which is kind of an interesting combination of things. Look how long this one leaf is, though. It's going mad, going mad. There might be some flower clusters forming in that. I certainly hope there are. So otherwise, this is kind of a waste of real estate. I have recently gotten some radish seeds that I was thinking about sprinkling into one or two of these, and then just kind of hosing it down with the sprayer until it gets to the water point, and we'll see if any actually sprout out of that. And I got some beans, more beans, yes I know, that I was thinking about planting in here too, just to kind of see, well, just kind of see how it'll do, really. So, yeah, work on getting that 50 pounds, right? Anywho, that about wraps it up for the aquaponics today. Like I said, there's a video coming in the near future of fiddling with pumps and timers and such to see what makes me a happier camper. And I have kind of skipped the last fish cam video, so if you're still around, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to put another one of those on there. Get an underwater look at these guys. They have grown quite a bit, and their water is, you know, surprisingly clear, so yes, let me know. Okay, so if you're still around at this point, the only thing that remains is to head back outside and see if we can jump start that mower. And hopefully it'll start. It just occurs to me, I haven't even checked to see if there's gas in it yet. But otherwise, hopefully it'll sound like it wants to start, and maybe there's just enough gas in there that it will start. That's kind of hoping for a lot, but yeah, anyway. So thanks to everybody that chipped in, particularly Rev and Trollforge. You guys gave me a lot of great info on that mower, and I am going to jump start it with the battery, but I will look at the co-op tomorrow and see what they've got for riding mower batteries, because everybody and their uncle out here has a riding mower, so I'm sure they stock some at the co-op. And, you know, when they see me coming, they know I'm cheap, so they probably won't even try too hard to overcharge me for what I don't need. Yeah. We'll see. So, upstairs and outside to try and start the brand new used project riding mower thing. Yeah. So funny, this thing just barely fits in the little bit of shop that I have available. Just barely fits through the door, so that's all suspiciously perfect. But yeah, I guess I need to push this out now, get it out into some lawn type area. Kind of smells like there might be gas in there though, because there hasn't been the smell of gasoline in this shop for almost 3 years. I kind of smell gas. Let's hope that's not a leak. Alright, well, I've tried a few different things with this old battery and this old lawnmower, and I'm not getting so much as a whir out of this thing. So I'm going to ask around, see if anybody's got a spare, actual, proper riding mower battery, and or see if anybody wants to help me work this, because I got a couple people in town with these things, so hopefully we can get her running. And that's where I'm going to start cleaning up my mess. I got sweat dripping down my face from the heat of the day. The wind is not quite enough to evaporate all that just yet, but so yeah, if you have any ideas on that, let me know. Hope you enjoyed the look at the yard and gardens, and I will see everybody on Tuesday. Take care, folks.